So, can we talk? Guys? Guys? Hey everyone. It's been a while since I've done a solo one of these. Yeah, a really long while. It's also been a while since we've done percentages in general. I think it's been, a month now? Things have been really hectic. Eli got injured at work, and this, of course, starting the new job itself was super, time constraining, and our schedules just don't match up for this kind of stuff anymore. Max has had finals for a couple of weeks, and I've just been busy doing a lot of other stuff, so I haven't really gotten around to doing this. Yeah, and then Eli got injured at work, which prevents them from sitting for long periods of time, so they haven't been able to do much of anything at all in terms of sitting at a computer and recording or whatever. So yeah, here I am alone, and boy howdy, there's plenty of shit to talk about anyway, so I might as well. Hey, this one's gonna actually get back to being what it used to be, me talking about politics and gender issues and racism and shit. Yay, so just turn it off now if you don't want that. I'll try to make it funny-ish if I can. I don't know, maybe I can. Well, we'll see. But yeah, so the Charleston massacre happened. And subsequently, I think it's, 9 black churches have been burned in the South now, since then. And, man, we have a lot of people saying that that's not part of that, or not at all linked. And it's not about race, and I don't get how you can say that, I don't get how you can do that. It's just weird how that kind of stuff can happen and people go, oh, well, it's not race related. It's like, well, no, this kid who had a racist manifesto murdered 9 black people in a church, and then multiple black churches have burned in the South since then. That's a very obviously related. Come the fuck on. Don't even give me that shit. But hey, people will be people, and to quote one of my favorite comedians, and I'm changing the quote slightly, but crackers is the same. So, I mean, it's fucked up. What the fuck, man? This kid literally shot and killed 9 fucking people in a church because of melanin in their skin. How are we still at this point? It's not like this is new, but it's just how is this? It is 2015. How are we still at this point that anybody deems that is a thing that they have to do with their life and goes and does it? How do you get to that point in what you do? In your everyday existence, how do you get to that? Just I don't understand it. But it's been talked to death by everybody by now, so 3-4 minutes is enough for me to talk about that. E3 happened, and I haven't talked about that anywhere because we haven't done backlog either. Fucking E3, wow. Man, again, gonna bring up race here, but anybody notice that Ubisoft really has a hard-on for scruffy white dudes killing a lot of brown people? Because that's what most of their games were. And I'm really concerned that somebody at I know they're French, so they probably don't quite get it, but having every one of your games with Mighty Whitey killing all the browns, might want to chill on that. On the cool side, Fallout 4 looks fucking amazing, and I'm even hyped for Doom, which I'm never hyped for that kind of shit. And yeah, a lot of shit looks really cool. And then you have EA and Ubisoft just kind of making the whole thing look like shit, too. And it's like, oh, okay, so this is the thing we're doing, huh? Alright. What have we done lately? Like, we haven't done anything, really. It's just been watching Adventure Time, and I've been writing and trying to work on Dead and trying to keep my sanity while being sick. I had a fucking migraine for 2 days, and it still hasn't let up, but I've just kind of said fuck it, and I'm doing my shit no matter what. Yeah, I don't know. Like, things just weird, and I really would like them to not be weird. God, there was something else I want to talk about that was actually pretty funny, but I cannot remember what, and without somebody else here to bounce things off of, I don't quite know. Let's go take a look at Twitter. And nothing interesting is happening on Twitter. So let's talk about art and how cool some stuff is. Have you seen Nightlight by the Penny Arcade people? Like, it's so cool. Essentially, the concept that they've talked about is certain people can, like, dads can see the monsters that their kids see at night, and there are certain kids who, like, actually can see them, and that's why the kids tell, like, hey, there's a monster in my closet or something, because these kids called Nightlights who are classified as Nightlights, I guess, are, like, able to see them, and the dads can also see them, so the dads, like, kill the monsters with their kids, and it's, like, the art's super cute, and the main, like, one of the girls that Mike Krahulik was showing off on Twitter, I will put links to all of it in the show notes here, because it's super, super fucking cute, and she's this adorable, she looks almost like Connie from Steven Universe. Really long black hair, tan skin, huge glasses, like, she's super, super cute, and I will link the first page of Nightlights, because the first page had me, like, I was interested from the first panel. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then the last panel happens, and it's like, oh, okay, I need all of this forever now, because it's beautiful and perfectly done, and holy fuck, High Train, can you please go away? You were just here 5 minutes ago. But yeah, so I don't know, art's cool, and art is really nice to do and see, and people make really cool things, and I want more people to make cool things, because cool things are really nice to have in the world, especially in a world that is so fucked up like it is. Like, oh my god, do you need to do that? You asshole. Stop. It's bright out. People can still see your fucking train. Calm the fuck down, man. Like, are you kidding me? This is every goddamn time I try to do something. Really, fuck you, train. Fuck you. Anyway, hi, sorry. Really, it's getting louder. Anyway, so, I was just saying that art is really good, and we need some more things that are nice and cool to look at and cool to kind of escape with and think about in the world, because there's not enough, and the world kind of sucks, but at the same time is nice. So I don't know, let's just have more cool things. And yeah, god, should I tell a story? Should I tell a story from, like, when I was a kid, like an embarrassing story or something? Should I make just this embarrassing story time with Gabby on a solo podcast that she really was kind of dreading doing and should have done weeks ago? Okay, so let's make this embarrassing story time with Gabby. What should the embarrassing story be? Should I make it from when I was, like, prepubescent, or should I make it from more recent? Maybe I'll do it from... Try to think of a really embarrassing story from high school. because those are always great. No, that one's not really embarrassing so much as just sad. And I don't want to tell a sad story. I want to tell one that I can be embarrassed about, but also laugh about. And I know other people will find funny. And that's really hard, because a lot of my stories are just kind of like, oh, that's really just sad. That's just a sad thing. What possibly could I tell you guys that would be funny and embarrassing for myself? I don't have many that I haven't told. I could tell you work stories. I could tell you about, I told you about the steel mill last podcast. So let's talk about when I was working construction. So I used to work construction under the table back in Michigan, and it was shit pay, but it was non-taxed, and I was also definitely not cleared for this kind of work because I had pretty much no experience, and I was 17. So I was working under the table and hoping to God I didn't get caught. Oh boy, that was an interesting time. Like, the guy who somehow, like, I guess because the construction company that I was working for was kind of shoddy and really shady, they had tools that did not have proper safety mechanisms on them. Like the, like nail guns that have the proper, thing where you have to jam it down really hard and it has a pin in it, or not a pin, but almost like a piston, where when that's pressed, it releases it to be able to fire. Didn't have that. You could just fire it anywhere. Guy somehow nailed his hand to a roof. That was, oh god. Well, and the worst part about it was he was on the roof, roofing it, but it was in the middle of the summer, so the roof that was already, like, the shingles and stuff that were already there were, like, blisteringly hot, and he nailed his hand to it. So that was a fun time, trying to get him off the roof while his hand is burning, and he's up there with a nail through it, stuck into the roof. Yeah, that was just one of the injuries. Like, stuff like that happened all the time, but I guess the one time when I was helping frame a wall, and we get it all framed, it looks perfect, like absolutely perfect. We get it all set up, everything looks great, and we had spent like 2.5 hours, because it was like this, it was one of the main walls, so it was super, super huge. It wasn't like a cutoff wall or anything. And we get it all done, we're just fucking gross and sweaty and tired as fuck. We set it all up. We get all 4 of the walls up. We nail them all together. We get all like the menders in and stuff like that. And as soon as we start packing up, we just hear like this loud crunch. I had forgot to possibly, nail in a couple of the plates on 1 or 4 of the studs, and the bottoms I had forgotten. So eventually the weight just kind of stopped holding up, and the whole wall came down in a section, which then brought down the rest of it, and we lost a day's worth of work and a bunch of wood and part of a roof. I didn't work there anymore after that. Yeah, I mean, it was a very bad time. But hey, I was under the table, so it's not like he could do anything. I just didn't get paid that last paycheck, but it was the beginning of the week anyway, so I didn't care. Yeah, but I done goofed there. I destroyed a house. Like, we had all 4 of the, because there was a slight, I don't know what you call it. It's not an alcove, but it's like a extension comes off the side. It was just a single room, so we hadn't finished that yet. But we had finished like the main walls, so we were going to put in everything but the doorway and then attach the side room on later on. So the 4 main walls were up, and they had started working on the roof on the other half. And that was the half that I had not finished, forgetting about it because I went to lunch. And then we ended up losing all of that work, and it was not a good day. because a lot of lumber was lost too. So, yeah, I lost that job. That was the thing. I was also only 17, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So I can't really be blamed too much for that one. God, what else? Fuck. There's a lot of shit that happened at McDonald's. Oh, I should tell you about the time that there was a fight in the lobby that we all got into. Okay, so I lived in Utah for a while, and I worked in a McDonald's there. It was one of my first, actual, on-the-books paying jobs. And for some reason, in the area I was in Utah, there are a lot of Samoan guys. Entire families of Samoan people. And I worked with a few of them. PJ and... Oh, what was his name? I cannot remember his older brother's name, but they were both 300, 350 pounds, 6'6" each. They were huge guys. Every Samoan I've ever met. They're always great people. Every time I've met Samoan people, it's just I will hang out with you for a long ass time. Yes. And we had a ex-Marine for a shift manager, his son, me, and then a few girls working the counter and drive-thru and stuff like that. Because, hey, put pretty faces in the places where people see people. So late one night, we closed at 2 a.m. This is back before the 24-hour thing was standard. It was I think around midnight, maybe 1. We were getting ready to close up. We were starting to close the lobby, so just drive-thru was there, and a group of 5 very drunk guys came through. And when I say drunk, I mean I was behind the counter, back doing fries and shit, and I could smell them from there. I was in front of a fryer, and I could still smell them. They were just disgustingly drunk and probably soaked in booze. They probably dumped it on themselves or something. These guys come in and they start harassing the girl at the counter, and I cannot remember her name. I can remember PJ, and that is it. But they start harassing the girl at the counter when she's like, "Hey, we're closing up. I can't take your order. If you want to order, just come through the drive-thru. The door's supposed to be locked. Sorry." And they start giving her a hard time and stuff, and then one reaches across the counter and grabs her arm. Before anybody can react, my manager is across the counter and has the guy on the ground. The other guys dogpile on him, and then everything kind of breaks into chaos, and PJ, his brother, me, and the manager's son all come running around the corner, and I'm 6'3" and weigh, back then probably about 320, 330, because I was working at McDonald's, so I weighed a lot more than I do now. And PJ and his brother come around, and they're freaking massive. And then the manager's son is tiny, he's a stick. But we all come around the corner, and the guys get off of our manager, who is still just beating the hell out of this guy. And it turns into just a brawl. It is just fucking insane, where we're just kind of I swear probably PJ or his brother hit me a couple times. I know I had to have hit my manager a couple times. I know for a fact I hit PJ twice. Not intentionally, but it just turned into a brawl where everybody was just beating the living shit out of everybody else. And one guy went out on a stretcher with a broken jaw. 2 guys had concussions. One guy had, I think, bruised ribs. Yeah, it was a very bad time, and we were all fucked up too. But the other guys definitely were were in far worse shape than we were. We were not nearly as bad as them. Yeah, it was a fun time. Not really, it sucked. I hated that job. But that was an interesting time. I got into a lot of fights in Utah now that I think about it. I got into three fights in Utah? 3 actual, big time fights. I got into a fight at a college party that I went to. It was in the college. And there was a band playing, there was a mosh pit, a guy stomped on my knee. And it was my bad knee, which, for anybody who doesn't know, I have a knee that doesn't have any cartilage, and my patella's all jacked up in it. It's my left knee, yay. And a guy stomped on that knee, like he was dancing like a freaking idiot, and his foot came way up, and when he brought it back down, it came down right on the top of my damn knee and fucked me up really bad to the point where it was really hard for me to walk. And he told me to get out of the way, and I at that point was not happy because I just had a very sensitive, tender spot on my leg stomped on. So we came to fisticuffs, which resulted in some, that resulted in an interesting thing of me getting kicked out, but also he didn't come out of it very well either. It was just the two of us, though. It was surprising that nobody else, jumped in on it, because, yeah, I mean, it was a fairly, I would very much think that a few of those people were drunk, too. So, yeah, that was an interesting time. And then there was one time did I ever tell how I got fired? Well, how I quit McDonald's? Because that was interesting. The first time I quit. No, it was the second time I quit, because the first time was when I told my manager to go fuck himself. It wasn't the manager, it was actually the ops manager of the region. I told him to go fuck himself because, he wanted me to train any new employees and 2 new managers, and I still was only getting paid what the rest of, like, the crew was getting paid. And if I'm training managers, I should probably be a manager at that point. So I told him to go fuck himself, because he wasn't going to give me a raise or anything, or a promotion or anything. And I was tired of working for shit money and doing the store manager's job, like closing the store. But that was the first time. The second time when I came back, because I needed a job, I was taking the trash out, and I came out the back door with a couple bags of trash. And I'm going to use a slur here, but I'll beep it. So, yeah, I'll bleep the slur this time. I come outside with the trash to go chuck it in the dumpster, and you have to cross through like the drive-through line to get there. And this guy leans out his window and goes, "Get a real job, you fucking which, at that point, I was having a really, really bad day. Like, I was having a really, really shitty day. I'd burnt myself twice on the grill. I'd had 2 people walk out, 3 people hadn't shown up, and we had been doing a lot of business. Like, it was a busy day. I was just not having a good day that day. There were some problems at home and shit. Like, it was just a bad time to say something like that to me. So I set the trash down, and I just walked up to his truck, and I just punched his window as hard as I could and broke it. Fucked my hand up really bad. Broke 3 of my knuckles, had glass in it, and sliced it all the fuck. But I just grabbed his head and slammed him into his fucking steering wheel, and then walked in. And I was like bleeding everywhere, told my manager I quit and walked away, and that was the last I heard of it. So, I don't know. That was a thing that happened though, and I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm not that same person anymore. I don't react with that kind of thing anymore. I was really not a good person when I was living in Utah. I already knew that though. Yeah. And then another fight, a guy just came up and actually tried to like fight me when I was walking home from work one day. Like he was having a party at his house or something, or he's at somebody's party or whatever, and he came out of his car or out of his house and started saying shit, and I didn't pay attention because I had headphones in, and all of a sudden I felt something hit me in the back, and I turn around and he pushes me, and a fight began, and then I went home. So that was a fun time. Yeah. People throw shit from cars a lot, too. Like, I got hit in the back with a wrench in Michigan, like, an actual, like, crescent wrench. Somebody whipped it out of their car and hit me in the back with it. Like, what the fuck? Who just throws it? It was a perfectly good wrench. There was nothing wrong with it. I took it home. I used it. Fucking, it was a perfectly good crescent wrench, but the fucker threw it at me. Like, why? Who just throws a perfectly good wrench out of their car at somebody? So, that was a thing. Like, that shit happens a lot. I just realized, man, like, I got some stories about some racist shit, too. Like, I could go on about that, but I'm not gonna today. I'll go on about that some other time when I gotta do a solo podcast. I'm actually gonna probably wrap this one up. So, if you like this bullshit... See, I'm not good at this like Dylon is. Dylon did an episode of Internet Box that was just him, and it was great. And I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't hold the podcast by myself anymore. I used to kind of be able to. Yeah, anyway. If you like this kind of shit, we're on Patreon, patreon.com/SSP. I know they're having weird issues with, like, charging people right now, so fuck if I know. But yeah, we post most of our stuff, if not all of it, super early over there. So if you want to get, like, podcasts early, or Pages for Dead, which will be going up there probably a very long time before they'll actually go up on the site. Episodes of Hunted, stuff like that will all be going up early there. Anything extra we do, like any artwork or anything we do that we aren't going to post to the main site or publicly will still go up there. Anything like that. I'm also going to be putting together the current rough versions of the written parts for Hunted that are out, and I'm going to be putting up PDFs for each chapter up there, just for anybody who's a patron who wants them. So, I mean, if you're a patron, please come on by and support us if you'd like to, because it helps us pay for things. If you'd like to follow me, I am Recurring V's on Twitter and Tumblr. We have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/ I believe it's just /Recurring V's or /u/Recurring V's, where we do gameplay stuff, which will be coming back Monday. We do other stuff, like I post podcasts there as well, unless you're listening to this there. So hi, if you're on YouTube. We post other stuff like live streams and stuff, which streaming will be back not this week, next week. Will finally be a time when Eli and I can sit down and stream, maybe. I'm going to try to stream more, but I'm also changing jobs, so we'll see how that goes. Other than that, yeah. Eli is Eli Kisses Rats on Tumblr and Twitter. Van is Pansy Boyfriend on both of those. Max is Squeaking Hiccups on Tumblr and Squeaking Hiccup, singular, on Twitter. And yeah, I mean, if you have any questions for us, email us at spidersquidproductions, or spidersquidproductions@gmail.com, or hit us up on anywhere else. We have a subreddit, reddit.com/r/recurring, or yeah, well, /r/recurring V's and /r/Spider Squid both exist too. So yeah, post shit there if you want to. Anyway, have a nice night, everybody. See ya.